Hey, what's going on, people? This is Vision. Once again, my phone's getting hacked. People already know that. And people figure that out. People understand what's happening because, and because of the tragedy. This video, this vid, was supposed to be made on Sunday, and today's Monday, the 5th of February. But a lot was going on. I had appointments to go to when I got out of jail. I have things to do. So sometimes it takes a while for things to go through. But I have a lot. I'm busy. I'm still struggling. Uh, you know, but this is the closing part two. Apologies, no apologies, and thank yous. But before I get started, I'm glad that people understand my YouTube channel, understand, they got a chance to look at it, got a chance to look at the music and stuff, and, they went through it. And then the government of the North, F. Scar's family, relatives, they wanted to make something out of nothing out of the music. Now that's music I liked before this drama even was even thought of, was that even happened in my life, wasn't even like that. What happened to me is a tragedy. It's a serious tragedy, and those songs were picked out. And when I like a song, if it was in high school, if I liked it then, I'll probably like it now. That's one thing that that people back in the day, like Wu-Tang, I listened to the Roots, and some songs on that album, Illa Half-Life, those are my favorite songs, and just because they say, oh yeah, whatever, they're trying to make sense out of it now, that it's for this drama. No, that song was completely before the drama, against the drama, and it's just a song that I like. So don't start putting music into play that I liked in the past. Those are songs that I liked when I was in high school. A Little Half Life, I recorded. I had that CD for a while. A friend of mine bought, and then I recorded it on tape, on VA, on cassette tape and stuff. And same with people in the past. They went in the time machine and they asked questions to the people in the past, and they all those people in the past honest and said, no, I'm not gay, I'm straight, and now they're trying to say different, but the government's just trying to cover stuff up. In reality, you know, they're trying, and then the government North trying to say, oh yeah, he was like that before or something. I don't know what they're trying to pull on that. Like all this is basically for the money that had went on, the money that's happening and stuff. This is all money that's tragedy. It's tragedy money. A tragedy. I mean, I'm the victim. I'm the victim, and they're trying to do a lot, and just to keep this tragedy, this money going. And people need to understand I'm upset. The closing part two, basically, was supposed to come out in 27. Was supposed to come out last year in January. In February around last year was exposed F Scar month, and everybody knows F Scar month, my enemy. He made money off of this stuff. He made money. He was a tragic. There was a tragedy that happened in my life, and he made money off of that and stuff. And I'm upset because he continued this tragedy. Anybody who is continuing this tragedy on me, and who is like who's part of this drama against me, and anyone who likes my enemy Ascar, they're for this tragedy against me and stuff. And people said F-Scar would apologize to all. Of course, F-Scar would apologize to all because he lied to all. I just use harsh words on MySpace. So what I said about F-Scar and what's happening on F-Scar, um, there's no apologies on that part. His family knew that what he did is made money off my tragedy. His family is also part of this tragedy because of the money, and there's a lot of things that are going on and stuff. And another thing on tragedy is the companies he bought out. I'm not for those companies that he bought out, and I hope nobody else supports it. If they support that, then they support tragedy. Uh, this company right here, this was bought out through tragedy money. And this company right here, this is through the Wi-Fi food, tragedy money. This is bought out. So you're supporting the tragedy that's continuing with me and the government's doing. So, those things I don't support. I don't support. I'm not. It was weird because I also heard that they say, "Oh, F Scar's a singer." I mean, fuck that. There's other people that sing. There's other people. Singers look up to legendary singers, people who struggled in life and didn't make it through tragedy on somebody. Um, Other singers look up to legends and stuff. They don't look up to somebody who frauded me, who lied, singers don't, they have other, and then Afskar tried to say that, me and Afskar don't, he tried to say that kicking it with him is like kicking it with me now. We don't even, there's not in any form kind of way that if you kick it with him that you're gonna feel like you're kicking it with me. We look different. Our facial features are different. Everything's different. He was trying to make it look like he was there was like, okay, he was obsessed with me, and then he was trying to make it look like it wasn't like that. He said he liked girls. Then why was he obsessed with me? And then he didn't mind performing sexual acts with a lot of men. That person is gay and stuff. And being obsessed in the way he was obsessed with me also said a lot. And I also heard that there was a lot that went on, and that's another reason why the government of the North and so they're fighting for him because of just to keep that money, and he was paying them to get my clothes, to take my clothes and all that kind of stuff. But once again, I'm not for that person. He had a lot of money. The money that was made off of me, that company, it was frauded off my image on how I look. The company that he bought out, that's one of the companies. Osama, he knew it was a tragedy. He knew what happened. There's no apologies there. Before he signed that contract, he knew what had happened to me. It's a tragedy what went on. It's a tragedy and he's just trying to say that he's just trying to say, oh, fine or love because of what he signed, and he doesn't feel he has to go back because he signed it against me, knowing that it's a tragedy. But you know, what he doesn't want to go to court and stuff. So there's no apologies there and stuff. Um, but he should stop. I think if he stopped, that would help. Um, but if he doesn't stop, and I heard he started the Osama Foundation because he knew that the contract was going to be over for that 1 year, and you know he's he's not gonna the government's not gonna do it. He's gonna have to pay for that, and that's what part of the Osama Foundation was and stuff. And the soldiers that died that for him because they took the order, they knew that what they were doing to me was going to continue the tragedy on my life. And so those soldiers died. I mean, yeah, of course, I'm upset on what I said on them, and so anger is going to come out. Yeah, if I wanted, I don't want people to go against this drama on me. And if they are part of this, and they do pass away, then that's what they needed. There's no apologies there. I'm not, gay. I'm not bi. They want to make me bi, but I'm completely straight, and I'm always straight. I don't apologize to my enemy Hector, first Red Mexican Master, because he's the one that wants this drama on me and that started this drama, and that's why this whole fight is going on because he was the main one. Everybody followed him, and so it was the first Red Mexicans Master, the gang that carried out orders so this drama could go on. Now the government's in it, uh, you know. So I don't apologize to what I said and what went on because they knew what they did to me is a tragedy. They know what happened to me is a tragedy and stuff. And so the apologies are not there. Um, there's other things happening. The politics in the gang, the shooting and all that kind of stuff. That's going on. And so right now, graph writers, they shouldn't even be a part of this drama or the politics that happen with the gang. Because people get shot up and you have tag bangers and all that kind of stuff. In reality, it's like that's a different kind of politics, graph writers. So it's like, your colors, if you're just going to go out riding, you're going to be on the street or whatever, then you're going to understand it's like you don't want a part of that drama. If you're a graph writer, everybody knows about the drama, but the politics in the gang, that's where people die. And it's like people should die over like graph writing. So I mean, when I see the 4 dots or the 3 dots next to the piece, it's like, oh, okay, he's for the drama and stuff. He's for the graph writing, the tag banging and stuff. But writing and graph, it's like people have friends in gangs, but the politics and people shouldn't get shot up going down the street or in some drama, even though it's like because they have their people or they have friends in a certain gang. But if you're a graph writer and you got your crews and stuff, it's like your colors just remain separate so that you can just walk down the street and not get, messed with. And so right here, you got the 2 colors, you got the dark green and the light charcoal. And so green, West Coast, and you got the light gray and then charcoal, and that should be East Coast. So West Coast, and East, and their streets, they're different. Their streets are different. The politics are different. I mean, they even though they mingle, but then people got to recognize it's like they don't want part of that politics. They don't want that type of order when you're in, a gangs group. A gang group is different, you know. So to get away from all that, and people like the art, people, in the streets and all that kind of stuff, and the different part. It's like at least they could walk down and then they could see. It's like, okay, that's a crew. That's a crew that's either from the East Coast or the West Coast, and same with people from, you know other countries. If their country started, because everybody knows graph writing, and everybody, the world should know graph writing started in America. But America has this politics now. But in order to get out of situations, all you have to understand, even though it doesn't represent that graph writers are in gangs and that kind of stuff, it just goes to show that graph writing is different. It's a different, politics, but they want to show, okay, East Coast and West Coast, because graph writing started in America, started in New York, and on the West Coast started in LA and stuff, and it's two different areas, two different and stuff, but crews that started from the West Coast should wear the dark green, charcoal, East Coast. So people they're not gonna fight for the colors. There's no color fighting. It's just showing the representation of a different street, and then you have the colors just representing the sides of America. That's it. So, but nothing fighting. It just goes show if you see a crew and they're wearing West Coast colors, a graph writing crew, and they're wearing West Coast colors, they walk around, then they know, oh, that's just a West Coast crew. There's no fighting going on. There's no type of, okay, I'm going to start some drama. It's just they're for a different, they're not for they're not for that kind of politics and that kind of war. So that's what would separate that the most and everything. You have the colors, so colors from other countries. Their crew comes out to the United States and opens up a crew. What part of the United States? That's what their crew is going to represent. If their crew started from the West Coast and it goes to Europe or Japan or wherever there's graph writing, they're going to represent, this is the color, and if they open up a crew in that country, then that country is going to represent that color. Dark green, charcoal, so you're going to see the difference on what's more, what's less, who's for the politics, who's not, who can be safe in the streets, who can, who is in the streets, but not for certain politics in the streets and stuff. So, I just want to put that out there in the closing part 2 and stuff. And it makes a lot of sense too. I apologies now. I apologize. I might have said some things. I know I might have said something about blue being on blue, but on video. But that was just more. I actually trust blue, but that was just more on the because figure of speech. Just watch out who you trust, because I heard some people in red dress up as blue try to shoot up a party and all that. So in reality, just watch out what goes on. I mean, there's people that could just wear blue, and but there's a lot of drama that's going on in the streets, and they're trying to really just take it out. Blue is just like, forget about blue and all that kind of stuff. But anyways, I didn't mean anything by out of the blue. It's something that just came out. Word of mouth. Be careful on the streets, or be careful wherever you're at and stuff. And out of the blue just means that, it didn't mean anything, like that. I also, my lowrider bike too. I was in a crew. I like my lowrider bike crew. I like my lowrider bike. just but the people that my friends that were in that crew, what I heard now, I mean, of course, I grew up and they didn't become, they grew up with their own life. I grew up with my life, and then, I heard that they were just talking mess and talking a whole bunch of stuff, and I'm like, oh man. So, but no, at that time, I really liked my low bike, and I still do. I just couldn't take it with me when I lost the storage because there was a lot of stuff I couldn't take. I just took a lot of main stuff. But I knew my bike was probably going to get sold if something was going to happen. Because, once again, I got my stuff out of storage and took it out. But, my mom's not for me. She wanted that stuff out too. She didn't want to hold it for me at her place. And then I found out too she was selling stuff of mine. So it goes to show, once again, my mother, she's not for me. She's not for me at all. Yeah, and then she kicked my stuff out. I had to bring it out over here. This was during when Osama was in office, and then he set my stuff up, and the government took my stuff the first time, and Osama has it. He had it. I found it out. So yeah, no apologies. Especially because of that too. Osama knows what happened. He knows the tragedy. It's what happened. The racist remarks, I apologize to all black people. Black people know I don't hate black people. This is for the tragedy on what happened. Those blacks know what the red blacks know that the tragedy, what happened to me is a tragedy. What's going on to me is a tragedy. The blacks that are not for this should understand, hey, I'm upset, I'm bothered. Sometimes things come out, like words and all that kind of stuff. So, that's it. The language that I use on MySpace, people should understand. People should understand the language I use. I'm bothered, I'm upset. But I apologize. I apologize for the language, harsh remarks. Like I said, racist remarks. I apologize for that. I said something about special needs, remark. I'm upset, I'm bothered. Sometimes words come out, I don't think. So, there's apologies for that. The armed forces, a lot of soldiers are not into this drama doing the false fraudulent activity to me. The armed forces, I apologize, but I don't mean the armed forces when I talk about these soldiers. So the armed forces is not like that. The people that go into the armed forces, well, then they need to look at or the orders that they're given. But, I apologize to the rest of the armed forces, the rest of the veterans, but the people that died for this tragedy against me, people that died on this tragedy against me, and part of this drama. I mean, they understood when dying that they're gonna do this tragedy and continue this tragedy on me and stuff. And I thank you for the government, the official government, not the government of the North, the government for the white noise and stopping the order to attack me and stuff like that. So those are the things that I'm thankful for. And other than that, this is it, the closing part 2. Be on the lookout on the MySpace, MySpace, and check me out there on YouTube. And then I also heard too, you gotta watch out now since the government got ties in, and there's this person at Google, now they're messing with the Leo Rubin MySpace, Google is and stuff because of a certain person, some girl that works there. Yeah, supposedly she's gonna start going against me. They're gonna use her to go against me. So you gotta watch out. There's a certain girl, so she's doing the Google stuff. Yeah, so I don't know. It's a trip. She was supposed to be a friend, but they're doing the government because of this drama. All right, later, people with vision.